growing up playing sports. And to me, growing up playing sports, I really wish that I would have done it earlier, knowing all the benefits that it does to people. So, so it is beneficial to children who grow up playing sports, not only for fun, but also for the life lessons and the challenges with it, and the opportunities they get later in life. At a young age, children who play sports have better self-esteem than children who don't play sports. According to the United States nonprofit for cancer, a study on young athletes showed that sports increase the child's confidence and self-esteem. Sports also helps kids build relationships with their family and other members in the team to become more social in life. Another benefit is the health of a growing child. Children also improve their hand-eye coordination and motor skills while growing up in playing sports. Playing sports also encourages children not to speak, not to smoke or drink, and also encourages daily exercise to reduce the chance of diabetes, and makes sports doing exercise as a fun alternative than to doing it in teenagers sports is more influential in an athlete's life. Sports also is a stress reliever from school. In my personal experience, growing up playing soccer, the sport was always somewhere where I could just relieve stress and forget about things that are going on. But sports also helps teenagers control blood pressure and prevent chronic diseases, which are diseases that come in the heart, that affect the heart, such as diabetes, obesity, strokes, arthritis, and heart disease. According to the University of Kansas, athletes tended to have better attendance, graduation rates, and assessment scores than their peers who didn't play sports. Another study from the National Collegiate Athletic Association, or the NCAA, showed that 82% of Division I students on a scholarship earned a degree, and another 73% of students graduated from college. Then NCAA partners with 1,121 colleges and universities to help children in high school pursue their careers in sports, and allows them for a more beneficial life from the contribution of sports. In adults, the benefits of sports contribute more to physical health than any other, because as people get older, they tend to get more prone to diseases. Unfortunately, most of the athletes who played at a younger age do not continue playing sports later in life. Well, by the age of 26, most adults don't play or any sport they used to play. Some factors for lack of fitness vary from time, work, lack of interest, or health access. And this shows the drop from the participation of sports during their life. Another benefit from playing sports is that employers, knowing that all athletes have some discipline and work ethic mentality, more athletes are seen as someone with leadership and someone who could work in a team, and so they're more desirable to employers. Also, former student athletes 76% of students who play sports actually contributed their sports to their success in their careers. That's it.
Can you tell me what the time was on that? I didn't run my clock.
It was 2:35 left.
Left, okay, so that's 6 minutes, no, it's 5 minutes and 35 seconds, 25 minutes.
25.
5:25, okay, thank you. All right, Matthew, what did you think?
So first I thought the topic was clear, it was appropriate for the speech. The examples and information he gave was relevant. He gave a personal example, which is good too. The visual material, saying there is good visual material is appropriate for the speech. He sourced most of the information. He knew the info, it seemed like he did a lot of research. I thought it was organized well. He started with the how it affected you as a kid and ended with as an adult. The only problem I saw was there was no conclusion.
All right, well, I think that is the organization. I didn't think it was very obvious at the beginning of the speech. There's no preview that sets that up. That was a little bit confusing. However, as you were giving the speech, I could kind of tell that that's where it was headed, and it was obvious that you'd organize the material that way. You do need more specific transitions, though, so that we know that you've gone from one point to another, and it could be a little bit smoother. So I'm a little bit hesitant to pat you too much on the back on that, although I do think it's there. I think it needs to be a little more obvious to the audience. I thought also your research was pretty solid. I think you've got good information on most of the points that you're presenting, and you cite it pretty well. Although there are a couple of places where there isn't the same kind of information. You mentioned, for instance, health, hand-eye coordination, smoking and drinking, and I'm going, and where did all this information come? What's this data? Is there any statistic that supports this? Is this the conclusion of some expert or authority? It was a little bit vague, and those are pretty dramatic advantages that you're talking about there, so it seems like there ought to be a little bit more information on it. There was some good information earlier about relationships and self-esteem, and then later on we got some good information about people who are college students and their graduation rates and that sort of thing, and it just seemed like, I know that you did research there, I know that it's there, but it's very superficial and it's not cited, so you want to make sure that you are more consistent about that. The visuals, the first 2 or 3 didn't do much for me except show me people playing sports, so it creates a little bit of interest, but it doesn't do much to organize the material, add to our understanding of the subject matter, that sort of thing. I did think that the slide that you had toward the end that talked about the drop-off in participation was pretty effective at communicating that idea, and it also ties into that third point, which is about the adults dropping off and not participating as much, and I thought that that was actually one of the strong points in the speech. Delivery things, you're reading quite a bit. It's clear that you got lost a couple of times and you're just kind of struggling. You need a little bit more practice. Now I'm going to yell at you about 2 things, the beginning and the end of the speech, because those, we have this thing that's called the primacy recency effect, and people are sometimes affected by the first thing that they see or hear and the last thing that they see or hear, most importantly. And I hope that that doesn't hang over you, because I think in the body of the speech you did an okay job. But you have no attention device at the beginning. You just start with the purpose statement, and that's not what we talked about doing. The purpose statement needs to come after an attention device. You've got a little bit of a personal story that you tell, but it's a vague story. I think you could share a little bit more and make it more interesting. I I have no idea what sports you participated in and how enthusiastic you were about them or what success you had from them, or if you continue to participate in them, that sort of thing. And so I think that would be okay to use as your attention device, but it needs to be at the beginning of the speech, and it needs to be, like I said, a little bit more energetic. And then, of course, you had the Porky Pig exit that I told you not to do, which is, that's all, folks, so we don't want to have that. You got to have some clearer exit line. Okay? All right, thank you.